Welcome back to ReZero Anime Review, episode number 75. Yeah, we're here reviewing one of the spin-off light novels of ReZero, a prequel light novel that kind of ties into the most recent season of the show. This being ReZero EX Volume 3, The Ballad of the Sword Devil. I say this basically ties into it because it kind of is basically a bit of expansion what we saw in the main series. That's kind of what this is here. It basically is all about Wilhelm and Teresa's love for each other. Like, how they first... Well, not exactly the first, but they've already showed it in the anime. Like, how eventually they got together, of course, and the fact that basically her father is a very doting person. The fact he's very obsessed, basically, with his daughter all to himself. Yeah, he's that picky, and the fact he would delay their upcoming wedding because they actually engaged in one of the chapters. And her best friend Carol, who is basically her assistant, yeah, she's with a guy named Graham, who is basically Wilhelm's vice captain in the army. And he's referred to as a sword devil, and she's a sword saint. And he has a strong desire to free her from Mercedes as a sword saint. Which, of course, she's actually very happy with that because, as it's shown in the anime, she didn't ask to be the sword saint. It was just grafted onto her. Because she's got very good sword skills. And, like, basically because the whole thing with the army, the fact that they had this battle happen the same day as their wedding. Yes. And Teresa gets a lot of screen time in the book, basically, because the book is a little more her than Wilhelm. This book's mostly about her. And a lot of it leads into their wedding. This is basically, like I said, for their upcoming wedding, which happens in the final chapter of the book. And these are like a series of stories that just happen to feature these two characters. Now, of course, like in the anime, Wilhelm cannot, for some reasons, cannot tell his wife that he loves her. And by the way, also we do see a character who we actually did make a brief cameo in Season 2. Roswell J. Mathers. Yeah, it's a previous Roswell, because here's the thing. The current Roswell is Roswell L. Mathers. Yes, L. Mathers. So technically this woman is the current Roswell's grandmother. Yep. And they had it where she had a thing for Wilhelm, and then like Wilhelm basically turned her down because he's infatuated with Teresa. Yeah, because of course we do briefly see the Roswell Mathers mansion. Also, he appears here too, and he's also in Season 3. So great including that. Oh, the stories here are called The Love Ballad of the Sword Devil. What became of them? The Love Ballad of the Sword Devil. The Wedding Day. The Love Ballad of the Sword Devil. The Silver Flower Dance of Palette. And last one's called Lover's Interlude. Yeah, unlike the previous books, which were a little bit longer than this one. Unlike in the case of the last book, basically focused on Felix, this is focused on Teresa, a character who's currently dead in the main series. And I like the fact we got a lot of focus on her and her love for Wilhelm. And it is quite obvious Wilhelm loves her, but he apparently can't tell her that. Even shown in Season 3 in a flashback, she's told him multiple times that she loves him. He, for some reason, never told her. I mean, you would think by his actions, basically, you could tell, basically, that he loves her. But she wants him to admit it. And for some reason, he can't. And he doesn't finally say it to her until we see what happened in Season 3 of the anime, where he tells basically a copy of her who has her memories that he loves her, and she's like, about time you tell me that, when she's about to die. But she's also surrounded by her idiot son and her awesome grandson. And here's the thing about the show, and they never explain this in the show. Why the heck does she still look young despite the fact she at one point became a grandmother? Yeah, that's something interesting though, because Wilhelm, I think, is supposed to be in his 50s, I think. Because They showed another flashback later on after she had her son, who was Reinhardt's father, who was a dick. Also, they do mention here how he got the name. Basically, he had a previous last name. Because here's the thing. Her last name was Astra. You think, oh, maybe her married name. No. Basically, Astra, he married into the family. He gave up his familiar. Basically, it's explained in this book that he gave up his original name, just named Astrid. Wilhelm Astrid. And then she gave him the name Vaughn. As a nod to the original Sword Saint. That was her gift to him as part of their wedding. And the king himself basically has no problem with it. Now, here's the thing. Teresa's father was actually gave him the blessing, but he's very much against the wedding itself. So he kept delaying. And Teresa at one point got fed up with him and threatened to walk out on the family because of his nonsense. And eventually, they had the wedding. And it looked like Carol and Graham might be next to get married. Also, when you after toward the end, toward close to the wedding, she's like, tells Wilhelm, "You stink," and she's like, "You smell like flowers." That's their way of loving each other. But this is talking about bathing, and also the fact that apparently his father tried to join him on their honeymoon. Yes, I do not know why this is. Like, why in the world did the father decide to join him on the honeymoon? This makes no frickin' sense at all. Like, you ever heard of a story where you have a couple get married and the father-in-law joins them on the honeymoon? Kind of a dumb idea, but this is a very good book. I love this. Give it 10 out of 10. And I have roughly about 2 more of those books left to go. Really? Yeah, really. 2 more left to go. Because they only put out 5 of these books, and I think 5 was the last one. I don't know what's in the next 2 books, but it's a good thing I decided to read this after season 3 wrapped up. Excuse me. You can kind of think of this book as sort of like a companion to season 4. Because, of course, this is a subplot in season 3. Which, gotta love it for that. You could say that a lot of the stuff in here is pretty much basically because the earliest flashback had these two when they first went in the flower field, and like this is basically a lot of the other stuff that wasn't explored in the main anime, and it's here in this book. Could I think this make an OVA? Oh heck yes, definitely. Just like the first 2 books. And I originally, when I got into reading these books, I was against reading these books because basically Subaru wasn't in it because he's the main character. But this is before he came to the world. Which, by the way, basically the series almost 40 books in, and from what I can tell, they still have not explained of why in the world was he brought to this world. He keeps saying, oh, basically he's going to be Amelia. Like, how he got there is like really weird. And that's until the anime. It's kind of the follow the original light novel for that one, where he just, after leaving a convenience store, he just walks out, and then all of a sudden he's in the fantasy world. And then no long after, he gets the return by death stuff. Yeah. Well, at least we see season 4 coming. When? Don't know yet. Hopefully soon. I really enjoyed season 3. That was really awesome. It was definitely a step up from season 2. Yes. Excuse me. So that's pretty much the particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. So, when I get back after going to Barnes & Noble today, yes, I know today's my birthday, I am going to, while I'm there, I'm working on Demon Lord 2099, work on episode 7, and come back here, work on episode 8, do my review, and then work on Comic Corner, and then pretty much basically, right after my 2 videos for those, I'm going to work on Case Closed, and then go back to Demon Lord 2099. Alright, so, see you in the next video. Bye.